Hey, this is John Carlos, and back when I reviewed the Comic-Con exclusive uncensored packaging of Kick-Ass Series 1 by NECA, a lot of people asked me to review the actual figures and not just the packaging. And then I totally didn't, but I figured, for Series 2, I will. So let's go. I'll admit I'm a little bit obsessive-compulsive when it comes to trying to find a good paint job, but the fine folks at Corner Store Comics let me dig through their box of Kick-Ass 2 figures when they arrived, and I was surprised to find out that there are in fact two kinds of Colonel Stars and Stripes figures, one with the hood up and one with the hood down. But luckily they're both evenly packed in the box, so it's not like one's like a harder to find variant than the other. And if you're really into packaging, it's worth noting that the dog, Eisenhower, is in a different pose on the photo on the back. And the Kick-Ass and the Hit Girl figures each feature a different photo of each figure on the back of their packaging. As far as sculpting goes, I'd say this is the most detailed figure in the Kick-Ass Series 1 or Series 2. I mean, if you look at all the details in the sculpting of this, armor from the final battle, it's all very, very tiny details as far as all the little straps that go across his chest and all that. The padding all looks really good. Even on the back it looks really good. Now, I'm not big on showing off articulation in a review and going over each joint, but I have gone over these in advance of this figure, and if there are any problem areas, I will let you guys know. The only thing worth noting as far as the Kick-Ass figure is that his arms don't really go terribly high because of the shoulder piece, but if you're concerned about this stuff on the side limiting his leg, it is made of a softer material, and the belt will kind of shift if you need to move the leg out. Now, this figure comes with an alternate head, and it takes quite a little bit of elbow grease to pop that head off, but there's a dual ball joint, and the thing I don't like about those, I mean, they work great on a figure, but they're a pain in the ass to pop on a head because they move while you're trying to put them on. Well, I tried and I couldn't get this head on. I was able to pop this head back on, so maybe just the hole at the bottom here is a little tighter. I don't know, but here's a look at the head, and it does look like Aaron Johnson. I think they did a pretty good job approximating his face. And just for a comparison, here is a look at the Kick-Ass figure next to the previous NECA Kick-Ass figure. There's pretty strong similarities. There's no like gaping difference in the paint scheme where you think one looks worse than the other. One little thing that I do like though is that the paint on this one, as far as the eyebrows and the eyes, are a little cleaner than the previous one. I always saw really sloppy eyebrows with the Series 1 Kick-Ass, and this is a little more accurate. Series 2 Hit Girl is a considerable improvement over the Series 1 Hit Girl. I like NECA a lot, but I will say when it comes to hit and misses, even though they're mostly hits, that Hit Girl figure was a total miss. I saw tons of those figures, and I never, not once, saw a good head on that figure. They all had really weird paint around her eyes and her mouth, and her mouth just was like a nightmare. It looked like one of those nurses out of the Eye of the Beholder episode of Twilight Zone. This is a considerable improvement. Now, they've never been able to really capture Chloe Grace Moritz's face properly. I don't know how you say her name, but I'm going for that. The Carrie figures I thought really missed the mark too, but this is probably the best they've done so far. But at least the paint on the lips is like clean and accurate, and the eyes are pretty clean. This is the best Hit Girl figure I've seen them do. I think the hair turned out good, and overall I think this is a solid figure as far as the sculpting of the head goes. Now, if there's one thing I hate, absolutely hate in toys in general, it's cloth capes on a plastic figure. I just cannot stand when cloth is used on an otherwise entirely plastic design. And if you're one of those people that cares about the scale, she's got these little hooks underneath the cape that are, proportionately human-sized, and they're not sized to like a 7-inch scale figure, so it's not terribly accurate to what you're working with the rest of the figure, so that kind of irks me. So we're just going to lose this cape entirely. She comes to this alternate head. It's of her motorcycle helmet. My only nitpick is I wish that the plugs went into the holes a little further and didn't stick out so much. But otherwise, it's pretty cool. I like that this piece lifts up and you see her head inside there. She also comes with 6 little tiny throwing daggers and 2 pistols and 2 grip hands for holding those pistols. And she also comes with these little whatchamacallits. I don't know what the hell they're called. But if you attach them together like that, they connect together. So I'm going to try popping off her head. Let's see if we can pop on her alternate a little easier than the Kick-Ass one. But the double joint inside the helmet seems to move around a lot. But yeah, I think I got it. There you go. We'll pop off one for hands and see how easy that is or not. I'm getting a lot of resistance on these figures. And there we go. There goes that hand. And the gun slides in pretty easily. Now, I'm pretty happy with how Colonel Stars and Stripes turned out. You know, camouflage is a pretty hard thing to achieve in paint on a little plastic 7-inch figure, and I think for the most part this turned out alright. It certainly reads like camouflage from far away. You know, up close, it's another story, but generally I think it's pretty good. Little details on this figure I think they did a great job with. I think the little, you know, American flag on the gloves is really good. The paint for the most part on this thing is really clean. The belt is a little off-center, but it's a little cleaner on the other figure, the one with the hood. Now this face sculpt, it's alright. It totally doesn't read like the character. You get it enough, but I think it's make or break is the paint. And this paint is just a little wonky, but still pretty good. It's the cleanest one I saw. But of course, you can't see that through the packaging. That's a little messy, but oh well. Here's the other version, and I think this one looks a little bit more like how he does in the film, and I think this one turned out a little better. His stubble certainly turned out better. You know, the belt's painted a lot cleaner. I think I prefer the one with the hood up. I think it just looks a little cooler. Now he also comes with Eisenhower, his dog. And I have just one little weird issue with this, and that's that the dog itself looks fine, but I don't really see the need for this second articulation point here. Like the head makes sense, and if this really swiveled, it would make more sense. I'll even show you the other one just to make sure I'm not being crazy here. I don't really see the point of having this move if this moves also. It doesn't really, all it does is sort of look unnatural. I mean, it already, at a profile, this just sort of doesn't read right. This could have just been one sculpt and it would have been a lot cleaner. But as it stands, you know, it's alright. I like that the mouth moves. And that's a fun little detail I didn't expect them to go the extra mile for. I just wish that this bright yellow matched the rest of the yellowish brown. But overall, it's a really, really cool accessory. And speaking of accessories, it also comes with his bat. And just the little amount of writing on this tiny bat, they did a really good job, including, you know, the little silver paint on it. It's a good little accessory. I think they did a great job with it. Series 2 turned out pretty good. The paintwork is a considerable improvement over Series 1, and I think the articulation on this whole line is for the most part pretty solid. In fact, I'd say Colonel Stars and Stripes articulation is some of the cleanest and smoothest I've seen from NECA in a long time. Now, even though I'm not a big fan of like cloth capes on figures, I will say that overall this line turned out pretty good, and at least none of these figures have feathers on them like the last time, and that's a good thing. Thanks for watching.